In this clip, we are going to clean up the scene. So right now, all our objects have been transformed into space. And most of the time, it's not a big deal. But in order to make these objects working with Mesh, we would like to, in a certain way, reset their position, orientation, and scale. Basically, we want this text to remain the same, but we want Maya to believe that this is its original position and orientation. If I open the channel box here, doing Ctrl A, I can see that here the text have X orientation of -90. Instead, I'd like to have 0. So same thing for the floral shapes. And as well for the gramophone, which got the translate Z, and the plane, which got a huge scale. So in order to do that, we will use the freeze transformation tool. So we want to make sure that all your objects are selected. So you can double check on your outliner to just make sure that everything is selected here. And now we can go to the modify menu and click on freeze transformation. So wait, don't click on that button. Instead, go to the option box here. That will open the freeze transformation options. And let's go to edit, reset settings. And that way you are sure that you have the same thing as me. So now you can click on freeze transform. And this is it. Now, if I look at my text here, I can see that all the translate are 0, the rotate as well, and all the scale are 1. This is perfect. And this is the same for the floral shapes, and for the gramophone, and for the plane. There we go. Now, we will do another cleaning operation, which is a little bit more destructive. When you work on an object and you modify it, you are sort of creating nodes in Maya. Let me show you real quick. So you don't have to do that, I'm just showing you. Here is the node. So this is all the nodes just to create one of my floral shapes. Most of the nodes correspond to the tabs that you have on your attribute editor, and it can quickly add up. And this could really slow down Maya and create some issues down the road. These nodes are really helpful as long as you want to tweak them. However, when you know that you are done with most of your objects, it's better to remove them and keep only the main ones. So, if you have any doubts, just save your scene before doing that. Now, let's go to Edit, and then delete all by type, and then History. And now, if I'm looking at my tabs right here, I can see that I just have a couple of them, but not all the tabs I had before. By doing that, you kind of baked your object the way they are, deleting extra controls you don't need anymore. Now, for instance, my text is just a simple mesh. You don't have this type tab anymore, allowing you to modify it easily. This is a destructive operation, unfortunately. But in the next module, we are going to work with resourceful tools, so it's important to do it. Now, I'd like to make sure all my objects are rendering properly, because sometimes working with the SVG tool could be problematic. I'll explain you why in a bit. I'm just going to create a light and have a quick overview to the render. I won't go too much into details about that because there is a whole module coming about rendering a little bit later. So for now, just quickly follow my steps. I'm going to go inside the Arnold menu up there and go inside Lights and create a sky dome light. I will go back to the Arnold menu again and click on Render. And this is on my other screen. There we go. And here it is. We can see the first results. And I was right to be suspicious because our floral shapes aren't showing up. But don't worry, there is an easy fix for that. When you create a SVG shape, Maya can have some difficulties to recreate all the points from the curve to generate the geometry, and it may create some invisible vertices which can screw the entire topology and make the render invisible. To fix that, I will select both of my shapes here, and I will go into the Mesh menu and select the cleanup here. Now, same thing, let's go to Edit, Reset Settings, And now go down and you want to tick the faces with 0 geometry area. And there we go. Now you can click on Cleanup. Maya now clean the meshes, and let's check the render again. Arnold, render, and here we are. Now they are appearing in the render. Sweet. So as you can see, this operation created another bunch of nodes here. So we'll go simply again in the Edit menu, delete all by type, and history to get rid of these new nodes that we don't need anymore. Now, last but not least, just to be clean, I will rename my different objects in my outliner. I just need to double click on an object to rename it, and I will rename my plane floor, and then I will rename my type mesh text, and then this one floral right, and this one floral left. And I will clean up a little bit the name of the gramophone and just keep the gramophone part. There we go. Now we're good to go. But before ending this module, let's have a quick recap of what we learned. We started this course by setting up the project settings. Then we learned how to create a 3D text using the type tool. We added bevels and subdivisions to make sure it will render properly and work well with Mesh. We created a 3D object using a vector path from Illustrator and the SVG tool in Maya. We took some time to lay out properly the shots and import an OBJ object. We then cleaned the scene and prepared everything for Mesh. In the next module, we will animate crazy effects with Mesh. I'm pretty excited about it, so see you there.